What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Into the Squared Circle podcast. Yes, I'm your host, GBs, and welcome to the WWE episode. That's right, it's WWE week, of course, as always, because we have the Royal Rumble going down this coming Saturday on the Peacock Network. I will have my previews, I will have my predictions of the Royal Rumble going down this Saturday. If you know what's going on in this show, you know how my predictions go, right? I try to see if I can get things right and lined up. You know, my predictions of previews here have been pretty good, right? My record's been pretty good. So if you've been watching, you know what's up. If you're new, welcome. If you're watching on YouTube, hit the subscribe. If you're listening on the podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, all you have to do is type in Into the Square Circle podcast, available today. Also on the show, we'll talk about Monday Night Raw that went down this past Monday. I have two highlights that enjoyed the most. One comes with audio. I have audio to play as well, so I'm excited to play that. Also, we'll talk about WWE and the Netflix deal. Yeah, everybody else is talking about it, but I'll keep it brief, right? We'll talk about it and how The Rock joined the directors board, right? So he's joined the committee board. We'll talk about that as well. And then the final piece of business, which I'll talk about, a very sensitive topic to talk about, very disgusting. Very disappointing too, as well. As of January 25th, the Wall Street Journal has released an article on Vince McMahon. Just the allegations are absolutely disgusting. Yes, we will talk about it on the show. I feel that it's really important to talk about it and address it as a fan. But we will discuss that. So you won't find this anywhere else in YouTube land and podcast land, because nobody wants to talk about it. You know, emergency podcasting, emergency alert, Netflix. Where's the Vince McMahon emergency podcast? So here I am going to talk about it. And boy, I'm gonna let my real me come out. I'm gonna be real as possible. Okay. So I want you on YouTube. I want you in the podcast land to join me. Be part of the conversation. I'm a fan. You're a fan. Let's collab together and let's express our opinions, right? As fans of pro wrestling, right? Because I mean, that's what we do. So enough of me jabbing. Let's kick off the show talking about WWE Raw this past Monday, right now on Into the Squared Circle podcast. All right, let's do it. All right, folks, here we go. Let's talk about WWE Raw that went down this past Monday on the USA Network. But before I get there, again, follow me on my social media platforms, Into the Squared Circle podcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and on right here on YouTube. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Again, be part of something, man. Again, just support independent, small-time content creator, however you want to call them. Just support them, man. And I'd be very appreciative if you guys do that as always. And as I mentioned, it's a podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. So you're on the road, you're in the bathroom, taking a shower, taking a dump, making love with your partner, and you need a podcast playing in the background. Into the Square Circle podcast is now available today. So we got that going on. And by the way, for $1.99 a month, okay, you're in the executive chair. You're in charge. Not a lot of podcasts allowed you to do that, right? You take control of the bonus content. That means $1.99 a month, patreon.com/Into the Square Circle podcast. You decide the topic. You decide what you want to talk about. You want to play trivia. You want to play games, whatever you like. Again, I have prizes here, action figures to give away. It's good times, man. $1.99 a month. Again, your name will be featured on the credit on every YouTube video I make. Your name will be featured at the very end credit on the podcast, right? Audio. So your name is on it, baby. You get the credit because you're paying $1.99 a month on Patreon. So it's that very simple, okay? $1.99 a month. Get you the executive role, man. You get the hot seat on the bonus content. Anything that you want is yours. Well, not everything, okay? So everything you see in the background, it's not yours. So let's just clear that up. All right, so let's talk about WWE Raw this past Monday before we move on to the future of Raw. So it was a decent show, right? A decent go home show. I enjoyed it, but two pieces of business. All right, so we'll talk about the first one here. Seth Rollins, he talked about his future. Seth Rollins came out and he's like, yeah, man, I had a torn, was it MCL? I understand ACL's a lot different. Will put you on the shelf longer, right? MCL is something you can work with, do the right training, see the right doctors, of course. And as long as you take it easy in the ring, you'll be fine. And Seth Rollins came out and he's like, yeah, man, I got an MCL torn. But I'm not going anywhere. And I am defending my title at WrestleMania. Sure enough, out comes Gunther. Gunther, the Intercontinental Champion, came out. You know, you try to soften him up a little bit in the ring, but you say, keep your eyes peeled. I might come for you. Teasing. Could we get a Gunther versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania? Now, there was a reported leaked match card of 3 matches, right? The Rock versus Roman Reigns, right? We got that. Seth Rollins versus Gunther. CM Punk versus Cody Rhodes. That's just been rumored that those 3 matches were leaked for WrestleMania. Sound like WWE was not happy about the leak. And I guess you could say Sports Illustrated, Justin Barrasso was the one that leaked it out, I guess. And WWE was not happy. We will talk about this, okay? We will get more in details when we talk about the Royal Rumble previews and predictions, okay? So it's very interesting. Very interesting. So Seth Rollins came out and he's not relinquishing his title. Okay, he's not going vacant. He's not going anywhere. He's going to heal up a little bit. He's going to tone it down a little bit. But they're teasing something here. Okay. So that was one of the 2 highlights I enjoyed this past Monday in Raw. Second highlight, which comes with audio, I enjoyed. It was a confrontation between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. You're like, oh, I kind of knew that. If you've been watching Raw, you knew that was the top highlight of the show. Come on, man. Hey, by the way, Drew McIntyre versus Damian Priest, 2 big guys beating the living hell out of each other in the main event. I thought it was pretty good. 2 big guys locked up. That was a great main event match. But Cody and Seth Rollins, 2 of the best in the business, on a hot mic. You don't know what's going to come out of CM Punk's mouth, right? Yeah. So it was a great promo between both guys, right? Great segment. And I'll go ahead and play the clip courtesy of WWE.com. And let me dial this really quick here on the audio. And man, it was so good. Like my eyes, my ears, they were locked into the television and like just waiting for one guy to say something controversial. So I'll play the clip here courtesy of WWE.
2 very different paths, one very, very similar goal. I didn't have the famous dad. I didn't have the American dream, Dusty Rhodes, son of a plumber. Global international heavyweight champion, superstar wrestler, recognized on the streets, dined with kings and queens. How's the rest of it go?
Slept in alleys and dined on pork and beans.
So you're like, okay, G, where are we going here? All right. Well, Punk is kind of brewing this way up to this oh snap moment. And you know what? I'll let CM Punk continue on here.
I didn't have the famous dad. My father was blue collar. My father was just a regular guy. He was an electrician, which makes it kind of ironic. I'm more of the American dream than you are.
Ooh, wow. I'm more American than dream than you are. What a tagline. What I mean, CM Punk's known for the smallest tagline, the smallest little hit, smallest little jab. Give us that nice little punch to get the crowd going, ooh, groaning and moaning. Only CM Punk could do that, just the smallest thing. The American dream. My parents, they were hard blue collar workers, right? Your father, Cody Rhodes, was a famous wrestler. So it was great. But just listening both of these guys go back and forth, and CM Punk is eating it up from Cody Rhodes. And it just watching those two, go face to face at the very end. They drop the mic and their facial reaction just very tense. It's like watching Hogan and Andre, how they locked up like this, right? Yeah, this shit's going down this coming Saturday at the Royal Rumble, in the actual men's Royal Rumble match. So it makes you think how this will play out for both guys. Both guys need to finish their story, right? And they're teasing something here. I dig it. I dig it. Do we want a Punk versus Cody at WrestleMania? I don't know. I mean, that's a great iconic moment. Yeah, absolutely. There's something you could look down the next 20, 30 years. Bam, Punk versus Cody, hell of a match, right? Something you can look back on because you're going to have a great match between both guys. But I don't know. Sound like their stories are not going to be finished in the year of 2024. So we will discuss this more later on the show for my Royal Rumble previews and predictions. Okay. It's a very interesting topic to talk about. So, other than that, I enjoyed Raw this past Monday. It was very entertaining. The go home show edition before the Royal Rumble. So, here we go. If you're watching on YouTube, drop it in the comment section. What did you enjoy this past Monday on Raw? What was your favorite highlight, of course? What was the least favorite part of the show you liked as well? You got to highlight that as well. Again, all you have to do is let me know right in the comment section of YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, send me a DM and tell me, man, this part sucks on Raw, or this part on Raw, but I loved it. I did a backflip in my bedroom. I enjoyed it so much. I doubt somebody's doing that. Maybe there is. All right, so that's it. We're going to take a quick commercial break. And when we come back, we'll talk about WWE, the future of Raw. Where's it going? You know where it's going. Netflix. We'll talk about that next after this quick commercial break. Here we go. All right, welcome back, folks, for the quick commercial break. And let's talk about WWE, their Netflix deal. That was announced this past Tuesday morning, which surprised a lot of people. Okay. Now I didn't go out my way. Oh my God. The world's burning. No. To me, when I woke up Tuesday morning, I checked my phone's notifications. WWE's going to Netflix. I'm like, okay, wow. That's amazing because, after all these talks, it's finally becoming a reality. It's happening. So that was that kind of surprise element to me. But I didn't lose my mind. I didn't run around in circles with my head cut off. Emergency podcast, YouTube Live. No, it can wait. It can wait. What else? Second piece of business. The Rock joins the board committee. That one kind of threw me off here. The Rock joins the board committee, the TKO board, and it's like, okay, that's a positive step forward for the company. Rock's the businessman, right? Got his own tequila business. He got his own clothing company. Project Rock, which you can find at Dick's Sporting Goods, right? If you're a big workout fan. He got his own production company, movie company. Runs the UFL, which debuts this spring for football. If you're a football fan. What else do we got? He got a bunch of stuff. Tequila, he got his own energy brand, Zoa, which is a Walmart. So the Rock's everywhere, right? The Rock. And the good part about this, the deal with him joining the board committee, he has full control to the Rock, property, right? The Rock, what's that term? I'm brain farts here. The intellectual property, the IP. So he owns that now, right? So if you're a pro wrestler outside of the company, right? You're leaving New Japan Pro Wrestling, and your name is Kushka Okada, right? I'm just example. You signed a deal with WWE. They have all the rights to change your name. You're gonna be Slap Bob Joe, right? And you're gonna wear a tinfoil hat. That's your gimmick. You're stuck with that until you're out of your contract. You can't be Kushka Okada because they ain't going to tell you that. You work for the WWE. They're going to tell you what to do, right? You're on a contract. Same thing with Cody, right? When he left the WWE, outside of the WWE, he was known as Cody because he was under a clause contract where he can't use his last name Rhodes, which is stupid, right? He can't be Cody Rhodes outside of the WWE. So he was Cody the whole time. Comes back to the WWE, got his last name back. So just the smallest thing right there, man. Just these contracts and man, I'm not a big fan of them, but whatever. Okay, so let's talk about the announcement this past Tuesday. So Tuesday morning, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson has been appointed to the board of directors, right? As I mentioned, for TKO Group Holdings. Soon after, WWE made the announcement they had agreed to a 10-year deal to bring Raw to Netflix starting January 2025, right? A $5 billion. $5 billion. Man, what you can do with that kind of money? Holy smokes, man. I'm going to need a lot of bank trunks, right? A lot of Brinks trucks to load up. I mean, I got to need like 5 different banks to hold this money. Oh man, what I can do with $5 billion? You get out of debt, buy a nice home somewhere in a cornfield here in northern Illinois, get myself a truck, a boat. I don't know. Maybe help out charity, do something nice, right? Make the world a better place. But man, $5 billion. That's a lot. That's a lot of cheddar, baby. That's a lot of cheddar. And again, January of 2025. So SmackDown ends on Fox later on in 2024 in fall time. Then they're switching over to the USA Network. Towards the end of 2024 of this year, my understanding, Raw is going to be without a home later on this month. So there's going to be a couple months gap between them switching over to Netflix. So it's interesting, right? It's very interesting how that's going to work out, where Raw's going to be at. Will it be featured on Peacock for the meantime? I don't know. I don't know. But, it's a very interesting thing here, folks, because it's a different chapter now. It's a different, a different turn off the leaf, a different page of the chapter in the book. And Raw has been a staple of cable for what, decades, right? For 30 years, I heard. I don't know. I could be wrong. But Raw's been part of the cable staple for a long ass time, right? And if you actually think about it, right, the WWE, the biggest wrestling company on the planet, on the planet, hands down, number one promotion. Everybody knows the WWE. It's a brand, right? You can go to Walmart, you'll see WWE stuff on the shelves and the gaming aisle. Anybody that sees that logo knows the branding. Anybody, even the smallest casual fan that very knows about wrestling, right? Who or was part of the Attitude Era and they just left, right? Oh, remember WWF? You're into the WWF? Stone Cold Rock, Hulk Hogan, NWO. I get people still doing that today, coming up to me. Man, I love that stuff, man. And remember that, and I'm like, yeah, man, I kind of remember that because when I tell people I'm a wrestling fan, I used to be a wrestling fan, so I hear that all the time. And those people were a big part of the Attitude Era, right? Between what Nitro on TNT, and the turn of broadcasting networks, and Raw was on the USA, Raw was on TNN for quite a bit. So, even those people know the brand, right? The brand. And it tells you right there that, despite them moving to Netflix, people will be familiarized with the brand. And I'm just kind of curious on how this work out for business wise, right? Sponsorships, we're going to get commercials. Do we have to sign up for a tier plan to pay extra to avoid the commercials? You know how the Peacock network, during a premium live event like a SummerSlam or WrestleMania, like after the women's match finish. All right. So we're going to take a quick commercial break if you're a non-subscriber, but if you're a Peacock upgrade member, here's a preview of the next match between Joe Schmo versus Bobby in a steel cage match. So those people will be watching that, the history package, and the people that's a non-member will be watching traditional commercials for Gain or, I don't know, a hair club for men. So I'm kind of curious if Netflix is going to be doing the same exact thing, right? You have the option to watch WWE only product commercials during the commercial breaks. I'm just kind of curious on that. If you have to pay extra for that, which I don't know, it's not worth it to me. And then the other thing is, are you able to watch it back later, right? Which is a common thing these days. Like me working the nights, I work a night shift. So all my stuff is DVR'd and I watch it the next morning, right? I'm a parent. So I can't be watching it live every single day, right? I used to watch Dynamite every Wednesday for the past year or two. Now I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to start DVRing, man. I got classes. I'm a parent. I can't keep up with live wrestling 5 days a week, each and every week. That's just absolutely impossible. Unless, you live in your parents' house and you got nothing to do, it is possible. But if you're a busy person like me, I DVR my shit, right? I DVR it. I watch it later on. And it's very helpful. I'm curious to see if Netflix will do that as well. Will it show the whole history of Raw? Just like a normal television episode, right? It's Netflix, right? Netflix and chill. Raw and chill, right? You got a hot girlfriend you want to take on a date, bring her home, slap her on the couch, watch some WWE Raw, right? That's how you do it. So it's gonna be an interesting chapter of the WWE. It's a lot of uncertainty, but it's also an exciting moment because it's a different chapter. It's a new direction. It's the way of the future, right? Everything's all streaming. Cable. A lot of people are cutting cable, right? For me, I am streaming on the Amazon Fire Stick, right? Sling TV. People got Hulu. People got Apple TV, YouTube TV. There's a lot of streaming stuff out there. A lot of streaming stuff. Football. I think WWE is going to go towards the NFL route, right? It sucks. I have all these damn apps I got to pay for to watch a damn game. I know you got the Chiefs playing on the Peacock network. You got Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime. my Sling TV don't have local CBS channel, so I have to pay for the Paramount Plus to watch CBS football. So I got all these damn apps, and you wonder if WWE is doing a similar route, right? Premium live events on Peacock, Raw streaming on exclusive on Netflix in 2025. Could SmackDown venture off into, I don't know, after their deal's done with USA, go to Hulu? I mean, you never know. You never know with the streaming services as the future unfolds, right? Cable's kind of, I hate saying it disappearing, but at the same time, it's being overruled by streaming now these days, and just the way how things work. So that's my opinions. That's my thoughts. But I do have an audio clip because I just didn't download it and have it lined up not to play it. So here we go. I'll play the clip courtesy of CNBC. That's right. If you're a big financial Wall Street snob, and I did watch it or listen to it on the podcast, CNBC. Ari Emanuel, The Rock, Nick Khan, everybody showed up at the Wall Street where they did the whole what do you call that? The closing of the Dow, right? The Dow, the stock exchange where they ring the bell, ding, 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 ding. They just wave at the crowd, and all the rich motherfuckers on the floor throw their papers in the air. I don't care. It's not my thing. But here we go. They were there live. They have an audio. I'll play the clip courtesy of CNBC.
Introduce our guests here at Post 9. They rang the bell. You may have seen that just a moment ago, of course. And this on news that Netflix will become the home of WWE's Raw next year. Also adding 2 new directors to its board. One of them sitting here joining us now in a CNBC exclusive is Ari Emanuel. He's the CEO of TKO and, of course, of Endeavor as well. And Dwayne Johnson, actor, producer, entrepreneur, and newly appointed director at TKO. Gentlemen, thank you both.
Thank you. So there we go. So nice little introduction from CNBC. And it pretty much sums up what I just talked about for the past couple minutes. And there we go. Raw is going to Netflix in 2025. The Rock is on the TKO board. Things are changing in the WWE, right? Positive stuff. Positive stuff all around in the WWE. So we got that. All right. So reflection. What do you call that? Summarize, right? You and me. You and I, YouTube, podcasts. What do you guys think? Are you guys going to pay for Netflix for Raw? Are you going to pay your hard-earned money to watch Monday Night Raw? Or you're going to illegally stream it from an unknown site? Make sure you have we call those internet protections, right? I don't know. The government will find you. Will you be watching on Netflix? Okay. I mean, my wife already have Netflix, so I'm good, right? I'm good. I don't have to worry about buying one. She watch her shows, so I can watch Raw now. So you got that. Are you excited? Are you excited, or are you a cable person? Are you a cable person who's still spending $500 for a month on a Comcast or a DirecTV or AT&T? Are you still that person that's still doing that with a remote? That's okay. I'm not going to bust your chops. Again, I still got internet through the cable provider, which I think a lot of people still do, and then stream their actual cable side, right? Their TV side. So I do watch the news, right? The news, Nickelodeon for the kiddo. So, bad. Yeah. Man, me and my coffee here, man, just make me jiggerish. Yeah, man. So again, let me know what you think in the comment section. Are you excited for Netflix? Thumbs up. If you don't, thumbs down. If you don't give a rat's ass, a middle finger. And there we go. All right, let's take another quick commercial break. I'm going to load up on my coffee really quick here. And then we will talk about a very sensitive topic from the Wall Street Journal of Vince McMahon. Something kind of makes me a little upset. But I'm going to fill up my coffee. I'm going to take a deep breather. We're going to discuss this, man. The real me, the badass. We'll talk about it next after this quick commercial break on Into the Squared Circle podcast. There we go. All right, welcome back, folks, and hope you got a quick refill like I did. I got my coffee set up, and now let's talk about this very sensitive topic to talk about, man. So let me adjust myself here really quick because absolutely disgusting. Of course, we're going to talk about the positive WWE, but we're also going to talk about the bad and the ugly, right? And if you know me, I try to stay positive in my shows. I try to so much, and I do acknowledge the bad stuff in AEW, right? The stuff that looms over the company. So I don't want people come after me. Oh, well, how come you don't make fun of AEW and Tony Khan and the Brawl Out and blah, 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 which I did in the past. I did. So, I again, we talk about the bad stuff, shit that goes down prior to a pay-per-view. And where there's a dark cloud glooms over an AEW pay-per-view. And we have another one from the WWE side. And this time, Vince McMahon's back in the presser again. And this time, this is 10 times worse, right? 10 times worse than the other Wall Street Journal, right? They get the credit because they're the another media site that released another article just like the previous ones in the past about women who will work under Vince sue him for doing sexual favors for money, right? So this time it happened again. This one was a little bit more recent, right? 2021, 2022. So this is more recent. I'm not sure if this is the time where he left the company. Vince left the company and then forced his way back in. Or was it I'm not sure it was prior or afterwards. But this lawsuit, with all the evidence, the text messages and the emails, they are very, very graphic, very, very detailed. I'm not going to repeat everything because it's very graphic. So if you want to know it, you want to see it, again, a little advisory here. You're at your own risk of looking at it. Okay? It's very graphic. Okay. Depends on your sexual tolerance level. And I'm not making a joke out of it. It's a very graphic, detailed lawsuit, right? Every text message, coming from Vince, and, what they did to this female, victim, it was tough to read coming from the Wall Street Journal. Now, if you have subscription to the Wall Street Journal, you can read the whole original article, but I'm not a subscription member, so I only saw partial. But there's plenty of websites, like the one I have on right now is from CNBC, of course. A couple days after they had that major announcement with Netflix deal on there, I played the audio, and then of course they released an article of WWE boss Vince McMahon accused of sexual assault and trafficking in a new lawsuit. That just don't sound right, man. So I'm gonna go ahead and share the screen here really quick and kind of show you what I'm looking at. So they get the credit, right? CNBC.com. So here we go. Let's see if I can get this thing dialed in here really quick. And okay, we're loading up here on YouTube, so you kind of see what I'm looking at here. So CNBC.com. WWE boss Vince McMahon accused of sexual assault and trafficking in new lawsuit. And if you see the points here, this is from Dan Madigan, the actual writer, published on Thursday, January 25th, the same day Wall Street Journal did it, right? So here are the key points is here. If you can see coming from Dan from CNBC, WWE boss Vince McMahon was accused of sexual assault, trafficking, physical, emotional abuse in a lawsuit by a woman who previously worked for the pro wrestling giant. Now, the Connecticut federal court suit by Janelle Grant, which alleges McMahon directed to have sex with a WWE superstar and other men to seek to avoid a non-disclosure agreement, NDAs, that Grant says she reached with McMahon in 2022 when he agreed to pay her $3 million. The suit says McMahon only paid her $1 million, okay, only one, but failed to make further payments. Grant was one of the several women who received payouts from McMahon over the years, which we have seen. WWE merged with the mixed martial arts company UFC. Both companies are now owned by TKO. WWE boss McMahon was accused Thursday of sexual assault, trafficking, physical, emotional abuse by a lawsuit by a woman who previously worked for the pro wrestling company. You see right there. And it's a full-on article, and it goes into details. Really disturbing. Really disturbing. So let me stop sharing here. Let's go back to me here really quick. I'm really disappointed, right? I'm very disappointed to see this kind of stuff. And the reason I'm talking about this because this stuff continues to come out, and who knows how much more is out there, right? And again, sexual trafficking, prostitution, however you want to go, workplace sexual abuse. It's sickening. It is absolutely sickening all across the board. I don't give a shit how much money you have. I don't give a shit how much power you have. How much fame do you have? You're the worst of the worst scumbag, the lowest of the common denominator on the planet Earth to be walking in to do that kind of crap. Now people are saying, well, not only rich people do it, like rich NFL owners or sports owners or billionaires, they can do wherever the hell they want. Even the smallest Smo Joe that lives in a small town of Alabama or Oklahoma. So I'm not trying to dictate a state, but even the smallest person just come home drunk, abused their wife, abused their girlfriend, and they have nowhere to go, no one to talk to, and they're stuck there. So abusement in all around of all categories is a very sensitive topic to talk about. Mental health. Some of these women have a hard time coping every single day at home, or going back out and dating. How can they trust another guy after being used like how Vince did? I was reading the article, and there's the victim, Mrs. Grant, again, worked under Vince. Vince, or I guess, trapped her in, my assumption, his personal gym. Hand her off like she was just like a tool. I hate using that word, like a tool, to give to John Laurinaitis before, obviously, he's not there no more. But when he was with the company, forced her to go to please him, right? There was another spot in the article where it said a UFC megastar / WWE was looking superstar that was looking to re-sign with the company. He was a very massive, well-known UFC fighter and a WWE wrestler, a crossover, and pretty much all the descriptions referred to Brock Lesnar, right? That's where everybody came up to a conclusion. It's Brock Lesnar, right? Again, he finished up his contract at that point of the time, and it kind of makes sense because he is a McMahon guy, right? Remember the whole rumors backstage when McMahon left the WWE, claimed he was going to retire and step away, and allegedly Brock Lesnar was pissed off and he was not going to show up at arena because Vince was not there. So it kind of put things one together. Again, I'm just a fan, right? I don't know shit. I'm not a FBI agent. I'm not a CIA, Pink Panther, detective here. It's pretty obvious that he is a McMahon guy. apparently, according to the lawsuit here, from the Wall Street Journal that posted on their website the article, I guess this UFC slash WWE major star wanted to have his way with Mrs. Grant, right? He requested certain content video from her doing some sexual videos, acts to send to him to please him. He wanted a play date with her. Again, Vince McMahon allegedly had a threesome, right, with Mrs. Grant and some other guy, a physical therapist, and forced her to do things. And for Switch for doing these sexual things with her, gave her money, gave her gift cards, and signed an NDA to keep her hush hush. And now here she is. Now she's gonna speak up about it, right? She's finally speaking up about it. Brave enough, courageous enough to speak it up, and now this plan on suing Vince McMahon. And I guess Vince McMahon, spokesperson, had released a statement towards the end of the day yesterday, the 25th, Thursday of 2024. They said they're going to fight back and all this stuff is not true, blah, 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 which is hard to believe, right? It's hard to believe with all these stories that came out. And then what? Vince paid off all the victims. Okay, here's your half of the share of the money. Just leave me alone. Let's move on forward with the WWE, sell the company. No, man, it just don't work that way. I don't care how much money you have. Try to hush them up. No, it don't work that way. You understand? You're messing up in the individual life, right? Mrs. Grant will now not wake up every morning, not have a normal social life, not have a normal relation life because Vince McMahon fucked it up for her. Right? It's a very sensitive thing to talk about. And down below in the description, if you know somebody who's gone through sexual abusement, someone's gone through mental illness, abusive in a relationship, or a family member, who are going through some hard times, I will leave a phone number down below, the website. It's a very sensitive thing, man. I take this very serious because I know somebody who went through mental health issues and discovering that they were going to harm themselves, and it's not something you want to see, right? Especially someone that you love. So it's disgusting, absolutely disgusting, absolutely horrendous. And it's every woman's nightmare to go through this. And Vince McMahon should be taking accountability. He should long time ago, with all these stories coming out. And again, we're going to have to wait and see what's the next step in this lawsuit, right? We have to wait and see what the next step. TKO did release a statement stating that McMahon does now operate the WWE day-to-day process, does not own TKO. Yeah, he is part of the executive chair. They're going to investigate. They're going to take it serious. Typical corporate statement, right? So, seeing all this stuff come out, it's angry. It makes me angry to see this kind of stuff. And just to affect one female. And not just one female from this lawsuit, but plenty others that either filed lawsuits so far or keeping it quiet and just scared to come out and say something. Now, I doubt any of them will be watching this video or listen to the podcast, but if you are, stand up, fight back, get this old dirty pervert off the damn streets, lock his ass up. That's my personal opinion. Now, you got those people out there, well, you don't know his side of the story. Well, leave him alone. He can do what he wants. Mother effer. Guy's not a pimp, okay? He's not out in the streets like in the underground Las Vegas pimping out women. He's a damn executive to the largest wrestling company on the planet, the largest company, corporate company in the world. So don't give me that shit, man. That's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. And yeah, it's disgusting. Okay, then I'm gonna leave it there. So I feel this must be discussed. Again, as a wrestling fan, yeah, yes, we can give McMahon all the flowers as a promoter, all the flowers of him creating the WWE and changing the landscape. Yes, that's one thing. But him doing all those horrendous acts, criminal stuff, it's just horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. But yeah, man, it's tough. It's tough. And again, if you want to read the original article, Wall Street Journal, it's on my Facebook page. I tweeted it at Instagram, Into the Square Circle podcast. It comes with the link. You can click on it. It's all over social media. You can Google it right now. ABC's news app popped up, CNN popped up. Every news outlet reported it already. So it's everywhere, right? Worldwide. So you can watch it, you can read it, and it's out there. But again, as I mentioned, it's a very graphic article. It's a very graphic sense. So if you're very sensitive to that kind of stuff, I warned you. And again, for all the women out there, the men, all the children as well, trafficking, sexual abuse, mental health issues, fight, man. Just fight. Fight. And again, if you've been through it, I feel it for you, and hang tough, because it's not easy. It's not easy, and you will get through it. You will get through it. So that's just from me, from the heart. Okay. All right. So enough of this, and we'll have to see what's next coming out of this story. So we'll take a quick commercial break right here and Into the Square Circle podcast. And when we come back, we'll talk about the main event of the show, the Royal Rumble, which is going down this coming Saturday on the Peacock Network. I have my previews and prediction coming up next right here and Into the Squared Circle podcast. All right, welcome back, folks, to the Royal Rumble previews and prediction going down this coming Saturday on the Peacock Network. From the St. Petersburg, Florida, at the Tropicana Field, the Royal Rumble. So let's talk about it. So we have 4 matches total, right? So we have the men's Royal Rumble. We have the women's Royal Rumble. We have the fatal 4-way between Roman Reigns versus Randy Orton versus AJ Styles versus LA Knight. And then we have Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens. So those are the 4 matches that we have so far. So where shall we start? Let's talk about the men's Royal Rumble. Let's kick it off. Talk about that. Who's going to win the Royal Rumble? I'm not going to name all 30 men because I don't know who's going to be part of it. Who should win it? Okay, we're going to keep it fair and square. Who should win the Rumble? Now let's track back to Monday. Remember I talked about on the show? We'll talk about it. How things will play out. If they're teasing Gunther versus Seth, right? That's the WrestleMania match, allegedly. And if The Rock will face Roman at WrestleMania, there's your main event picture. So I want to know who's going to win the Rumble. Right? Because the whole purpose of winning the Rumble is to win the world champion. To main event WrestleMania. So is The Rock going to show up the Royal Rumble? Is Gunther going to make his way into the Royal Rumble and win it? So in order to get that main event match status, you have to win the Royal Rumble. You know, right? Am I wrong? Right? The Royal Rumble's been around for X amount of years. So I mean, that's the rules. So how would that make sense for someone to win the Rumble and not main event it against the champion? So, I thought about that. And, it's scratching my head. It's just, is The Rock going to show up and win the Rumble? He's going to be number 30. Headline WrestleMania. It's going to piss off a lot of people. I will tell you that. It's going to piss off a lot of people. This guy comes in, joins the board of the WWE, wins the Royal Rumble. Cody, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, a lot of these guys doesn't finish the story. So yeah, it's going to be a little frustrating, The Rock just barges way in and just does it. But it'll be interesting if he wins the Rumble. And that's if The Rock and Roman comes true at WrestleMania. That's if Seth versus Gunther is true for WrestleMania. Which probably means they'll might have a Cody versus CM Punk. That'd be a great match. Is WrestleMania the place to be for 2024? I don't know. That's a hell of a main event match. So, who's going to win it? It's tough to say. I don't know who's going to win it. I want Cody to win it again, right? I want CM Punk to win. Or maybe Drew McIntyre will win and swerve everybody. Or maybe will The Rock show up at number 30 and win the damn Royal Rumble? I don't know. So I can't really give you an answer. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. YouTube land, podcasting land. Let me know what you guys think. Who's going to win the Rumble? I don't know. I'm going to leave a question mark. This is the first time I'm going to put a question mark on it. There's a lot of matches I have previous in prediction. I take a guess, right? Pull a name out of a hat. This one, I can't say because I don't know. I don't know on this one. This one stumped me as a fan. Stump G-Beast here. So that's going to be my pick. Vacant. Right? You see those on social media. Vacant. He's going to be the new winner. So, yeah, I don't know. I can't name this one. All right, the Women's Royal Rumble. Right? Women's 30-woman battle royal. Who's going to show up? Right? Oh, by the way, the men's. Kind of guess for who's going to show up for the men's. Will we get Andrade make his return back to the WWE? Maybe. Can we get Big E? That'd be a big surprise, right? For someone we never thought who could wrestle again. Can he make a small comeback? I mean, that'd be huge. So who it could be anybody, right? Anybody can get back in the ring. Women's Royal Rumble. Who's going to show up? Will Julia show up from New Japan? Who's a free agent? I'm not sure I'm not sure if she's completely done with a contract or not, but if she is free, she could be there. What else we got here? Who's going to win the Women's Royal Rumble? It's tough to say. As Becky Lynch is in it. I know Charlotte's out. Rhea Ripley. Who else is in there? Bianca Belair. I don't know. I don't know about this one either. My assumption, Becky Lynch. I'll take a stab again. I'm just pulling names out of a hat. There's an actual women's star that's been main event in the past. So, hey, I'll pick Becky Lynch for the hell of it. That's my pick. All right. Fatal four-way match. Roman Reigns will put his undisputed champion on the line against Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and LA Knight. Yeah. Who's going to win? We're going to have a hell of a match, right? So we know we have a nice little story between AJ Styles and LA Knight. Both guys don't like each other. Both guys were beating the living hell at each other in the ring. So, I'm kind of curious to see how this match will go. Randy Orton is the middleman. I think he got his eyes on the prize, which is Roman Reigns. So we'll see something here between both guys. How much Roman Reigns will be involved in this match? I think the other three guys will beat the living hell at each other as Roman will sit on the wayside. Possibly, or maybe Roman will kind of sneak his way in and take control of the match. Will there be a title change at the Royal Rumble? That's the next question, right? Will there be a title change? Could Randy Orton become the new champion? That would be nice. AJ Styles, I'll love to see him as a champion. LA Knight, shoot him to the moon. That would be wild if LA Knight won the undisputed champion, but I don't know, man. If I had to take a stab at it, maybe Roman will retain. I think Roman will retain, but I'd be shocked if he lost it. I'd be really shocked if he lost the title. Again, your opinions matters. Leave it in the comment section of YouTube. Podcast Land, Facebook, Instagram, and X, Twitter, whatever the hell you want to call it. Send me a DM. Let me know what you guys think. So I think Roman's going to retain. It's going to be my pick. All right, last match on the show, Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens for the WWE US Champion. I'm not sure how long Logan Paul's contract is with the company. If he has a long term, he might be the champion after this match. He'll probably find his way to weasel his way out. Maybe one of his cronies from the Prime or whatever of his YouTube show podcast. You know, there's always that one guy who's just lurking around ringside. Well, you know, the ref will have his back turned and sucker punch Kevin Owens. I don't know, man. Something tells me Logan Paul is going to retain. He's a prickish, snobby heel, and he will retain. It's my pick. And maybe put the title on the line to WrestleMania and drop it there. We'll have to wait and see. But that'll be my pick, Logan Paul. So there we go, folks. Royal Rumble and my picks and preview. Not a whole lot, right? You know, nothing extraordinary, right? It's tough to say what the future holds, what WrestleMania holds. I don't know. I don't know what direction WWE is. I mean, maybe Sports Illustrated busted them and got a rate on their league match card. It'd be very interesting to see how the men's layout will be between Cody, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, CM Punk. I told you something's brewing here, and I don't know what direction they're going. I talked about this a few weeks ago or a month ago. So I'm just curious to see what direction they're going. And I still can't figure out what direction they're going with here. I mean, there's a pretty obvious, right? It's pretty obvious Seth versus maybe Gunther, but I just don't know how. I don't know. I understand that business wise, they're trying to make this the biggest WrestleMania ever in history, right? They're trying to do that, but I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys in YouTube world, podcasting land. This episode has been super long, but it's WWE week, right? So here we are. Enjoy it. Looking forward to Royal Rumble this coming Saturday. And I'll talk to you guys post Royal Rumble. But before I end the show, follow me on social media platforms, Facebook, X, Instagram, right here on YouTube. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hit the follow. Thank you so much if you made it this far. As always, follow me on podcasting land like Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, more. And join me on Patreon, patreon.com/Into the Square Circle Podcast. $1.99 a month. You're an executive chair. You could take control of the show, whatever topic you want. It's up to you. All right, that's it, folks. I'm done talking. And I'll talk to you guys post Royal Rumble right here and Into the Squared Circle Podcast. All right, happy wrestling, everybody. Cheers.